What if time, the relentless force we measure with clocks and calendars, isn't as real as we think? In our daily rush, we hear phrases like, "I'm running out of time," or "there's not enough time." But is time merely the sun's rise and fall, or the ticking of a clock's hands? At Real World Channel, we're diving into a mind-bending question. Could time be a human illusion, a fleeting perception rather than an absolute truth? Buckle up. This exploration of time will challenge everything you believe about reality itself. Aristotle, time as the measure of change. The quest to understand time began long ago. Over 2,300 years ago, the Greek philosopher Aristotle tackled this mystery in his work, Physics. His view was elegantly simple. Time is the measure of change. Picture someone leaving home in the morning and returning after 2 hours. Those 2 hours mark the time it took for the change, going out and coming back. But here's the twist. Aristotle argued that if nothing changes, if the world stands still, time ceases to exist. No movement, no time. Now imagine lying in bed at night, lights off, perfectly still. Even then, don't you feel time slipping by? Aristotle had an answer for this too. He wrote that even in darkness, when the body feels nothing, the mind keeps moving, thoughts swirl, memories flicker. This inner motion, he said, creates the sensation of time passing. In other words, time exists because our minds never truly stop. As we've explored in past videos, this idea suggests time is tied to perception, not just the world outside us. Newton, time is an absolute flow. Fast forward to the 17th century, and Isaac Newton, the father of modern science, offered a different view. He believed time flows independently, untouched by the world's changes. Even if every object froze and every thought halted, time in Newton's mind would march on. Steady, absolute, unstoppable. This idea shaped how we measure time today, with clocks ticking uniformly, no matter what happens around them. Yet, Newton's view wasn't universally accepted. Many philosophers argued it felt too rigid, disconnected from human experience. As we've noted before, the notion of time as a fixed, universal constant doesn't align with how we intuitively feel its ebb and flow, moments stretching in joy or shrinking in fear. Einstein, time as a flexible illusion. Then came Albert Einstein, whose theory of relativity shattered both Aristotle's and Newton's ideas. In 1905, he declared time isn't absolute, it's relative, woven into the fabric of space itself. His concept of space-time, a four-dimensional tapestry, suggests time and space aren't separate but intertwined, bending under gravity and speed. According to his theory of special relativity, time slows for objects moving at high speeds. His general relativity adds that stronger gravitational fields, like near a massive planet, also slow time compared to weaker ones. A classic 1971 experiment proved this. Scientists placed ultra-precise atomic clocks, accurate to within a second over 187 million years, on two planes flying in opposite directions, one east, one west. Compared to a stationary clock at the U.S. Naval Observatory, the eastbound plane's clock lagged by 59 nanoseconds, while the westbound gained 273 nanoseconds. Why? The eastbound plane, moving with Earth's rotation, experienced faster relative speed, slowing its time, while the westbound plane moved slower, speeding its time. Even GPS satellites, as we've discussed in prior videos, must adjust for these effects daily, or their errors would grow by 10 kilometers a day. The twin paradox, time's tangible effects. Einstein's ideas sound abstract, but they're real. In 2015, NASA conducted a fascinating study with identical twin astronauts. One twin spent 340 days on the International Space Station, orbiting at high speed, while his brother stayed on Earth. When the spacefaring twin returned, scientists found his aging process had slowed slightly. The ends of his chromosomes, called telomeres, which shorten with age, degraded more slowly than his brother's. Time, quite literally, moved slower for him. But once back on Earth, his aging resumed at a normal pace. This experiment, as we've covered before, confirms that time isn't a fixed stream. It bends with motion and gravity. Some claim this proves time travel, but we're skeptical. As noted in our previous videos, while relativity allows for time dilation, the idea of jumping to the past or for future, like in sci-fi, lacks solid evidence. Instead, these experiments show time is fluid, shaped by our place in the universe. The block universe. Time as a frozen hole. In 2015, a philosopher from MIT proposed the block universe theory, building on Einstein's space-time. Imagine reality as a four-dimensional block where every moment, past, present, future, exists simultaneously. There's no flow of time. Every event has fixed coordinates in this block. Picture it like a movie reel. You can rewind or fast forward to any scene, but the whole film exists at once. Our brains, wired to recall the past but not the future, create the illusion of time moving forward. Physicists like Sean Carroll argue this perception stems from neural structures, not an objective flow. This aligns with spiritual traditions. Ancient texts like the Hindu Bhagavad Gita describe time as cyclical, an illusion of human consciousness. Near-death experiencers, as explored in our channel, often report seeing their entire lives at once, as if time collapsed into a single moment. These accounts suggest our linear sense of time might be a mental construct, not reality itself. Is time just in our minds? So is time real, or are we trapped in an illusion? Aristotle tied it to change, Newton saw it as absolute, and Einstein showed it bends. The block universe suggests it's static, while our brains make it feel alive. A 2017 study in Nature found that our perception of time warps under stress. Seconds stretch or shrink based on emotion. Ever notice how time flies when you're happy but crawls in boredom? This hints that time as we know it might be a trick of the mind. At Real World Channel, we lean toward the idea that time is less a universal truth and more a human experience. While some theories point to cosmic origins, as we've debated before, we find such claims speculative, lacking the evidence to fully convince us. Instead, stories like the twin experiment or the ticking of atomic clocks remind us time is as real as we perceive it, yet as malleable as a dream. What if the past, present, and future are just chapters in a story we're writing with every thought?